Looks like he's working off of a 5-card hand here, so he went down to 1 to throw a lot of damage at Michael Feng. This is a brandish, and this on-hit effect is very relevant when you're playing against a Bolton.
Oh yes, super strong card in Bolton. Dangerous life total for Bolton, but Bolton can explode out of nowhere with cards like, say, Celestial Cataclysm. That one's not bad.
My goodness, a Celestial Cataclysm. This is going to be 7 with Go again. If I'm not mistaken, that means there were 2 Celestial Cataclysms opened in this pod, because we saw one used as a popper last game. So this is going to be 7. It has the Go again. There's 2 floating. No Gallantry Gold available for Andrew to pump these hatchets up otherwise. So we'll have to see. You can see that looks to be maybe an Adrenaline Rush in the hand.
Adrenaline Rush. Can't quite make out that last card, but if you're Michael Feng, this is, again, a critical turn. Nice time to jump in.
Yeah.
We have to see if Feng is able to protect some cards in hand, offer some damage on the next turn, or if he has to shift into a full defensive posture. And so many times games of Flesh and Blood are decided by being forced into that defensive posture. It is very hard to recover from that spiral. The best players like Michael Feng can do so, but Andrew Lorenz also proven himself in consideration for discussion in that best players group on an absolute hot streak lately, dominating draft yesterday, CC yesterday, and was the only Bolton in this pod able to put together quite an impressive deck.
Critically, I was watching Ariana Loveday's draft, and there was a pack she had, pack 3, that had absolutely nothing in it, and there was a Spill Blood. And she snagged that out of there quick. That's a card that if Andrew Lorenz would probably have been happy to see. But when you're in these kind of pods, power cards that you don't want to see, if the pack itself isn't working for you, you can make that work out rather nicely for yourself.
Particularly in Monarch Draft, I think it is a very, very important part of the equation. It is going to be Adrenaline Rush to finish up the chain, and it's a lethal Adrenaline Rush. So, demands another card from Michael Feng, and this is Andrew Lorenz's chance. This is how you force that death spiral where Michael Feng just has to commit card after card after card. It is going to be a full block here, and does that mean Andrew Lorenz gets to go into the next turn with an arsenal? It does. Michael Feng going to have no offense on this turn, and now Andrew Lorenz gets a chance for an offensive flurry as a Bolton. No cards in soul critically, but does have a 5-card hand to work with. Can he find lethal against Michael Feng?
5-card hand has found his pitch tack most likely. Both players sitting atop the leaderboards here at the 9th round of the National Championship. Andrew Lorenz sitting at 8-0, going to come in with a Seek Enlightenment, bumping up the next attack, and we get to charge this turn. This cross the line just allows you to charge, but it also has 7 attack buffed up by the Seek Enlightenment, so we can give it go again with the Bolton here.
Yeah, resource floating as well to go ahead and put into that hatchet. Or excuse me, looks like resource was in fact used here.
So this is just going to be the end of the turn because that Seek Enlightenment then went right into the cross the line. Both those cards costing 1 that illuminate only a yellow pitch, so not being able to finish much. But we do have the Soul Shield headed to the Soul here, potentially to work with Bolton, with only 2 cards left in deck, though, for Andrew Lorenz. We were talking last round about the 2 different games happening at once. Michael Feng here potentially noticing the amount of cards in Andrew's deck and applying enough pressure that fatigue might be on the table here.
There is some possibility of this card from Arsenal being activated on this turn. Of course, it could be a 0. In that case, you can go ahead and use the Soul Shield to give this cross the line go again. That seems like a critical play with only 2 cards in deck. I don't know if Andrew's going to have the gas here. Really wants to be leveraging those hatchets in a scenario like this, and looks like the turn's just not really lining up for that style of play.
Got a 7 power attack cross the line coming at Michael Feng here. Maybe going to put 2 cards in front of this. Thinking about damage, thinking about fatigue, thinking about that trophy. Michael Feng sitting at 4 life at 7-1. Andrew Lorenz desperately holding on at that 1 point of life. Equipment has been used by both players here. Got only 1 card in the soul for the Bolton, an Adrenaline Rush, and it looks like a Herald being committed. Bolton online, so we're going to bump it up by 1, and we're going to activate Bolton here, so we're going to take a good amount of damage. I think the Adrenaline Rush only blocks 2. We're going to maybe have that defense reaction. No, it's just a Blinding Beam, so we're going to go ahead and bump it down from that 8 to the 6.
Yeah,
so
a pretty critical piece of reduction there, and that means Andrew Lorenz on the last gasp. Feng content to just defend, but it is a Yinty Yanty with Andrew Lorenz at 1. A fine play that gets a card, and that leaves Andrew Lorenz with only, I believe, 2 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. Feng with a full grip has to defend out here. It's Frontline Scout being presented. He shows his hand of double Blinding Beam Minnowism, and it looks like a Out muscle as the last card.
So only a only 2 cards that block, and those blinding beams are going to cost a resource. There are no shadow attacks. What are the last 2 cards here for Andrew?
Okay, well, if you're Andrew Lorenz, I think you just sit up in your seat a little bit and you go, okay, I thought I was just going through the motions, but
yeah, trying to
is there an actual out here for Andrew Lorenz?
So we think one of those cards is in a yellow Illuminate. We saw that pitched a moment ago on that Seek Enlightenment turn, so that's a 0 for 3. The other one is potentially an Invigorating Light. I can't quite tell. Gonna have to wait and see.
I think they're the same card.
Maybe just both Illuminates.
Yeah, they're the same card. They're both Illuminate.
So that's only going to be a 0 for 3 without any way to give it go again. So this is going to be 3 damage. We can take the 3 here for Michael Feng, though, because critically 4 is enough to put you to 1. So let's just come in with the Hatchet, keep another card in deck.
Minnows and blocks.
Yeah, no charge. So this is just going to be the end of the turn. 2 cards go in front of it.
2 cards have to go in front of the out muscle.
Now there's only 3 cards left for Michael Feng here.
Can he attack? He
has
does
the
have the
Herald.
Herald and is able to get the win. And I'll tell you what that means, Sam.